Hadi, da ist das Ding. Finally came home. So
Yeah.
you just won your first match of the season. It actually turns out that you are now not last team in the NA region. So how do you feel right now, and how do you think the match went for you guys?
I mean, I'm really happy. It's the first win in Owl, but I'm also kind of sad because it's the last game of the season. It was the last game of the season. It's kind of bittersweet ending. Of course, I'm really happy that we got the win and we didn't get a winless season, but it's also kind of sad. And the match, I'm just really proud that we were able to keep our composure throughout all maps and throughout the whole game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, despite this being a pretty rough season for you guys, are there any silver linings for you? Did you still enjoy your first year as a professional in the Overwatch League?
I mean, of course, I enjoyed it a lot. It would have been better if it's not from home and stuff, but I enjoyed it a lot. I gave it my all. I can say I gave it my all every single time, and I enjoyed it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your process, like how much you on average spend each day practicing? Did you have any off days? What was your season like?
I mean, the season is like when we're having games, or like when there's not a break in between like the tournaments. We're scrimming every day with like one off day. We scrim 4 hours every day. Some days we scrim more. Depends if we have a free block day. We have VOD review. We have everything. I practice a lot of ranked personally. That's just like how I like to do it. Like I just want to always keep up the grind. Always give it my all.
Right. What was the scrim environment like this season? Did you guys have good practice environments? Like, did you get to mostly scrim like European teams, so you had better ping? What was it like generally?
I mean, it's like we didn't scrim for like the ping, right? Because we in Owl we have the normal ping anyway,
Right.
so we were just like scrimming all the Owl teams. And then sometimes like was the games when we were playing versus Paris, we sometimes scrimmed some EU contenders teams, so we could like practice back on the like normal ping, so we could get used to it. For example, like in our warm-ups, we warm up versus British Hurricane a lot, our academy team, right? So we play EU server like lately because of the game versus Paris. We play the EU server. Then today we warmed up and we play an A server, of course, because we gotta get used to the ping.
For sure, yeah. I mean, now in hindsight, and we don't want to necessarily make excuses, but we know,
Yeah.
like, especially like for the main tank position, playing on ping can be really detrimental.
Yeah.
So now in hindsight, how do you feel about playing on ping? Do you think it was a big disadvantage?
Yeah, it was a big disadvantage. There's like no way to talk around it, but it's not a big disadvantage for all the heroes. So like for Wrecking Ball, for Ball, and for Monkey, it's like pretty much fine to play on ping. You have the like small disadvantages around that you have on every hero. That just like happens when you have higher ping. But on Orisa, it's also like pretty much fine. But it's just really annoying, like to play Ryan. Ryan is a really hard hero to play on ping, versus like another player who has less ping. It's just really difficult to play Ryan.
Can you explain the mechanic of why that is hard? Is it just like keeping a shield up, for instance, when someone shatters or that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's like the type of stuff because you have to react like earlier, or it's pretty much if you're playing Ryan on ping, Ryan 1v1 on ping, you can't react to stuff. You need to like predict the stuff. You need to anticipate a lot, and like the counter charge mechanic, it's really hard to like counter charge consistently. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's the same with shatter. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's like it's really annoying. But it's just Ryan. I don't like making excuses, and I just try my best with the situation I have, and the other heroes are mostly fine. So
For sure. Now, I mean, given that Vancouver was probably the most likely team that you would beat this week, did you specifically practice for Vancouver mostly, or did you just share the same amount of preparation for both teams that you played this week?
we actually shared the same amount of preparation for both teams. To be honest, I didn't expect that the Paris game would be so one-sided as it was. I thought it would be closer, but we just played pretty bad that day as well. I
Right.
thought we could win. Like, we always go into every game, we go into like the attitude that we can win the game. And even if it's going to be a hard one, we know maybe it's more likely we're going to lose, but we still give it our all for every match and just try our hardest.
Right. Now, there was some interesting choices that you made during this match in terms of the hero picks. Now, for instance, one interesting one that we wanted to ask you is, so in Rialto, you guys played Mercy for a healthy chunk.
Yeah.
But without the Pharah. So what is the idea behind that?
I mean, the idea is basically they play like an Orisa Pharah defense, and they don't really have many flankers that can get on our Zen. So if you play like a hero like Brick, our Brick doesn't get much value. Our Brick gets spammed by the Pharah like anyways, and our Brick can't get close to Orisa, and like only protects the Zen anyway. So we just play Mercy, then we can pocket Ripper, damage boost Ripper. We think Valk is a pretty good ult, like versus the comp we're playing versus.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have the mid-fight wrestlers. That's like the whole thing, thinking about it. Like versus Pharah, sometimes we just think Brick is going to be really hard, so we look for other options, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there like a player that you felt especially stepped up this this match for you guys?
I think Shax really stepped up, but I also think like everyone stepped up together. But I think especially like when you just watch the last end of the match, Shax really popped off. Like
For sure.
Shax went really hard, so it's gonna be in everyone's mind that Shax popped off really hard, for sure. But
Right.
I'm proud of everyone. Also really proud of Sparker, to be honest, because he just came in this week. Like we were playing Blase before,
Mm-hmm.
and we just put in Sparker now, and he had to adjust to like everything because before Sparker wasn't playing in scrims, and now Sparker was playing, and I think he did a really good job, and I'm really proud of him.
Right. Now, in hindsight, are there any things that you take away from this season? Are there things that you can already say, okay, we got to improve on this specific type, so like the next season is going to be more successful than this one?
I think there's a lot of stuff we should and could improve on. To be honest, I think there's too much to list. When you have a season like this, there are millions of issues that just happen, and it just didn't go as planned. Everything, and it's kind of sad that everything happened how it happened. But we can just like look at all the stuff and do it better next year.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I imagine, like, if you do, for instance, VOD review of certain other teams, you will probably also find teams that you would stylistically enjoy. So, is there any team that you're rooting for to do well this year, just because of like how they played?
I mean, personally, I really like how Dallas plays. Like, I just really like the Dallas play style. They always have a lot of confidence and play aggressive, and they basically just they make the game theirs. You know, it's like they can sometimes decide what the meta is going to be just because they're such a good team and so skilled individually, and I really enjoy them.
Right.
But I also personally, I also root for Atlanta because I have some friends there, and Anta was my old head coach back in the day, and yeah, it's also a team I root for.
No, for sure. So I guess as a last question, how are you going to spend the next couple of weeks? Are you going to watch the Overwatch League finals? Is it more back to grinding, or are you taking a break? Where's your head at the moment?
I mean, I will take a small break for sure, but for me, it's like I can never take long breaks. I always want to come back to the game and grind. Gonna watch all for sure, root for the teams, but really need a break as well. So I'm gonna take a short break for sure.
For sure. And of course, this was a hard and long season, so you guys deserve a break. Thank you for the interview. Congratulations to winning your first match and not being the last team. And once again, thank you.
Thank you.